Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day or night it is that you are experiencing this. I wish you the best of it. My name is Grant Lamontang from multitool.org, and this is EDC TV. Tonight with me, as usual, are my good buddies Abe from Diving Sparrow Knifeworks. How are you, Abe?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. And also tonight we have online trader Inky. How are you doing tonight, Inky?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Grant. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Actually, we got kind of a big episode here tonight. Well, we've actually been honored to be part of something called the Podcasthon, which is an association of over 2,500 podcasts that are going to be devoting an entire episode to charity. And our charity is going to be the Movember Foundation, which is an organization. Well, I raise money for it every November. I grow a mustache or some semblance of a mustache. And we raise funds for things like testicular cancer, prostate cancer, and mental health issues and suicide. So it's actually a pretty big deal, and I'm glad to be part of the Podcasthon. Tonight we are going to be talking about fixed blades for EDC, which is kind of an interesting topic. You know, some people try to do it, some people do it more successfully than others. Others just avoid fixed blades because they're scary. But we're going to be having a look at that in a little bit. First off, we're going to have a look. Inky, have you got anything new or exciting this week that we want to see?
I did get something that I liked until I got it. This
And what is that?
is a knife. Can you see
Excellent.
it? It's a CRJB. I
Okay.
gotta get the model number. It's very light. It's large. Got a 3 3/4 inch blade. It's
I
light.
like the handle color.
It's a special color that you probably can't see. It's not special. It's a different color for them. I have sunlight coming in right now. It's an access. It's not like flippy fun. It's a knife. You know what I mean? The access is very strong, the spring. But this knife, and it's known for it, has a little bit of a rattle always, which I don't understand with an access lock. It's got a thin pocket clip. I got it on
Nice.
sale for $40 as a user. I knew I'd want to carry it, and I have been carrying it since. It's like
That's nice.
under 4 ounces.
Yeah, it looks
Let me
nice.
give you the name.
The blade without the hole tends to remind me of the what's that Benchmade one again? Crooked River?
Oh, yeah, Crooked.
Yeah, it's got that it's kind of the blade shape is kind of yeah, it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's a good thing. It just has that kind of blade shape.
It's all right. The thing is that hole's not, it's a little too small for me, but I can still use it. I could actually flip it. It's called the Prado. I don't know if you can see me. I'm off camera here.
No, it's
It's
got
called
good
the
lines.
Prado, and I think, let me see what the usual price. The usual price would be, oh wow, it went down more. Holy crap! They're usually $56.69. This is down to $36.99 right now.
Nice.
I paid $39.99. It's aqua green. It's on camera. It doesn't look the same, but I
No,
mean,
it
it's
looks
got a
little
very
blue.
stiff access lock here.
Sorry. Yeah.
So it's not like flippy fun or anything like that. So for all you gadget spinners, you're not going to love it. This
I
is
guess the important thing is, can you get it open with your, what is it, your middle finger or something?
yeah. If I go, I think if I go like this, I could go like that, and it opens. Is that the way to do it?
That is not the first time today I've been flipped off, which
I
shouldn't
wasn't
come as a
flipping
shock
you
to
off.
anybody.
I wasn't flipping you off. Actually, I was showing the audience that you could use your middle finger
Yeah, see when you held it in your
while,
right
while opening.
when you held it in your left hand, you could actually see the true color. That's a nice colored handle. Like right there. Yeah, the lights hit it just right. Yeah. You can see that's a nice color.
Yeah.
It's very aqua green, like it says. I can't believe they lowered the price again. I'm going to return it just to save $3. But the thing is, it always has a little bit of a rattle, and it's known for it.
Well, it's not coming through on the speakers here, so that's good.
No, it's not that bad.
Jam a little
It's got
bubble gum in
some.
there.
It's got some very drilled out nested liners. I mean, for this one for $36.99 right now, so it'll be $40 with tax. This is a great deal. The other ones are $57. I guess the color didn't become popular enough. So, and the steel is that one of those newer steels. You know how I'm so terribly worried about steel. I forgot to remember it.
Yeah. I'm not really a
So I
huge.
definitely would say if the little bit of bullshit don't bother you, like a very little tinkle.
Well, that's good to know that the rattle doesn't bother you at all.
Yeah. No, I don't hear it. I mean, I don't love it. I'm not happy with it. It's got that new M9 steel. Not
Okay.
new, you know. It's
So,
good steel. It's got a high hardness. High hardness.
so other than the issue with the price coming down, why are you thinking about returning that one?
I was kidding. I mean, I've just saved the $3 because I paid 40. Now it's 36.99. I'm just joking. The hole could be bigger. You know, it's not like, you know, you can do this job if you want, but this thing, the access is very stiff. You can pull it back and flick it if you want, but it's not that real easy fun to play with knife. It's more of a, this knife will do you something real good and you don't notice you have it in your pocket as much. It's my new everyday carry. That's it. That's all I got. I didn't mean to make it such a long story.
That's a really nice looking knife. I like that one.
Yeah,
Sounds like a good price too for $40.
I like the grind
Yeah,
lines on the
yeah.
blade. The grind lines on the blade are
Now,
really nice.
yeah, the blinds, the blade's beautiful. It's flat.
Yeah.
It's got a nice dot. I know it's probably really hard to see
Go
right
back
now.
towards your beard. Go back towards you, and the light hits it. Like, pull it back towards you. A little bit more. Don't stick yourself in the face. You can kinda
Yeah,
see it there
please
now.
don't stab
There
yourself
you
in the
go.
face.
Now I can see it. See? The light's right on it.
Yeah, that's nice. The blade's reminiscent of the old Benchmade there.
Yeah, it is Crooked River the blade.
Yeah,
Yeah. Trigger
yeah. I
River.
was also thinking the Benchmade Panther had a similar kind of blade to it.
Yeah,
That's
they had
nice.
3 different blades, right? Yeah, I think you're right. This is a
Yeah,
little bit slightly flat, but a little bit Osborne in the handle, maybe? This down here part?
and that pocket clip. I see there's an
Very
extra
tight.
hole. Can that be moved to the other side for
Yep.
left-handed carry?
Yeah, you have to spin the whole, you might have to spin the spacer around too, I'm not sure. But it's got a slide up. It has
Okay,
also you can put your lanyard. It has that little lanyard loop, and there's a hole in it. You
okay,
see right here? Oh, wow. Right here, there's a pin, a stop pin, but it has a lanyard hole going through the pin. Wow.
nice.
Holy crap. Can you see
Yeah,
that? Look at that. See the little
yeah.
hole? How
That is
cool
pretty
is
cool.
that?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
really
yeah.
cool.
Wow, very nice. I didn't notice it myself till now.
Well, it's a good thing we
I'm
do
like
this
this, "Well, this
podcast
knife
then.
feels good." Alright, I throw it in my pocket. This is too tight. I don't wanna take it off yet. You know, even in my jeans, it was tight. But, yeah, it's maybe 3.5 ounces, 3 3/4 the most, but you don't feel it at all because it's big, it's distributed. I like it. I'm
Yeah,
a
it looks like a
fan.
really looks like a good blade. What's that handle material there? Is that
It's just
G10?
G10.
Very
It's got
cool.
nested liners that you might or might not be able to see, I guess. I didn't know we were gonna I was trying to move through this quick. Do you see the nested liners in there at all? There's lots of holes in them. It's very drilled out.
I can see that. Yeah, looks like a lot of cutouts in there.
I mean, I don't wouldn't smash it with a hammer into a tree, although it probably would help, but I don't do shit like that anyway. It probably
No.
hold up. It's probably pretty strong. Just
So
don't
what you're
love the
saying
whole
is the guys on Forged in Fire are not going to think much of it, but the rest of us will.
a regular knife, it'll last you the rest of your life, you know? And again, any real knife would if you just use it as a knife, but nowadays a knife is a breaking and entering tool and a pry bar.
Yeah,
You know, a knife is different now. Very nice, man. I'm telling you, for now, it's 40 with tax. I just looked it up. It's
that's nice.
36 and change. Yeah, I'd recommend it to anyone,
Awesome.
except for the guys that Forge and Fire. Abe would like it definitely.
It's,
If you could deal with the, you know, it's not like my perfect knife, but it's. I would change the design a little bit. It'd be my perfect knife. I'm very happy with
What
it.
changes would you make with that?
I would want something a little bit more for my thumb to, you know, to get in that hole a little bit better. Because
Okay.
right now I'm like, I'd
Right.
like to not to have to bend my thumb. I'd like to have to do that normal opening.
So if you had a little bit of a hump and a little bit bigger hole, then that would work.
just a wider blade. Just
A wider
increase the
hole.
width on the blade a little bit.
Or even a thumb stud would do for me. I'm a thumb
Yeah,
studder.
there you go.
Yeah, that would work
But
too.
see, it's just not enough for me there. I got remember my hands are, you know, gargantuan.
Right.
They're really big. They're fat. They're everything. They're long, big, and fat.
I find that's a big problem sometimes
Thank you.
that the guys bring, like on my Dozier knife, they bring the stud too close into the scales and you can't
Yes.
get your finger
Yeah.
in there.
I've got
It's
an
horrible.
original CRKT M16, and that
It's the
was the
worst.
problem I had with that. And
It's
that's
pretty much a
from,
stop pin too. That's why.
yeah, well, that was from back in the days before they put the flippers on them. So it's
Yeah.
that is really the only problem I have with that knife. Other than that, I think it's just fantastic.
It's funny, Inky, when he said that this will last you for the rest of your life. I was in a meeting at Ontario Knives back when Jeff Randall was there with Randall Knives, and he was working with Ontario, and they had just come out with their Stockman or their Cattleman folder, their slip joint.
Right.
And he said, and we're in this meeting with the Turbovich, Nick. I think it's Nick's the oldest one. And he says, face it, any good knife like this will last you the rest of your life. You don't need another one. And I agreed with Jeff, but Turbovich kind of went, well, like, oh my God, we can't sell knives if you keep saying that. It's like, we count on the fact that you buy more than one knife. But he basically just said, he says, you take care of any good knife, it's going to last you for your whole entire life.
Yeah. If we had this knife in the 80s, like instead of a 007, a 007, Abe. If I had this when I was that age, I probably would have stopped buying knives. Thank God I didn't have the.
Well, yeah, thank God.
So if you're 14 years old and looking for a knife, go and buy a
Yes, yes.
Spyderco or a Benchmade, not this CRJB 47R17-3 or whatever the hell it's called.
Victor 7 Charlie Adam.
So, what about you, Abe? You get anything new this week that you want to share with us?
I think I forgot to show. I didn't get anything this week, but I think I got this last week and I forgot to show it on the show. This utility knife. I thought I saw it and I said, I got to have this thing. It's really interesting. It's got a ruler on this side. Of course, for the Americans, it's in centimeters, so you won't understand it.
Is it
But
only in centimeters?
it's only in centimeters.
Oh, that's silly.
So it's only in centimeters. There's a pry bar. This is a pry bar at the front. I don't know if you can see that angle. And this
Okay,
is
yeah.
solid steel. And there's the wrench, which I haven't tried yet, but it is positioned nicely where you've got a handle to it. And of course, the ever, needed bottle opener.
Of course, got to have the bottle opener.
But it's
Yeah, look at
actually,
that.
and this was a dollar store find.
Really?
Yeah, it was a dollar store find. Now, I haven't had a chance to really use it yet, so I imagine the blade might not be of the best quality, or it might be perfectly okay. But this solid, like the weight on this is like really like it's a that's the
Is that-
liner steel. It's thick. It's it's solid.
How heavy is that thing?
It's pretty heavy. Like it's heavier than the normal knives, but I'll tell you, I've never had it happen. So I don't want to badmouth any knives, but I've got Olaf knives, and they're plastic. Even though I've never had one of them break, when I'm really reefing on something to cut, like if I'm dragging it through a carpet to take some carpet out of a place so we can put new flooring in, I've
Mhm.
always thought to myself, is there a chance this thing's going to come apart in my hand? Because I'm really reefing on them, right? Never
Yeah,
have. I don't want to, anybody get mad. Oh, you're bad mouthing. It's just sometimes with plastic, you kind of get the feeling like it might, even though it doesn't. And this here,
especially cutting old carpet. It's full of dirt and tiny little
Yeah.
stones and God knows what. It
Extra
is
shit
hell
that
on a
you
knife
gotta
blade.
get through.
I had carpet one place. I went in there and it was a beautiful bronze color. I thought, wow, this is a really nice carpet. And it looked like the old 70s style stuff.
Right?
And when I went to cut it, it had that really thick jute backing to it. And it was just, I was going through blades like crazy. And then I worked my way into the corner where I was supposed to, what I do is I cut it in strips about 3 feet wide so I can roll it, because that's how the dump guys allow you to dump it, or the garbage guys will pick it up.
Mhm.
And I get to the corner and I noticed where the TV stand was. The carpet wasn't originally bronze. It was baby blue.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it was baby
Holy
blue. It
shit.
was from the cigarette
It
smoke.
was that
So,
bad?
yeah, it was from the cigarette smoke.
What a beautiful color. It smells horrible.
I didn't have the windows open, so the smell, there's nothing really blowing the smell around. But then I thought to myself, oh no, because I've been in places like this before. I said, if the carpet's like that, so I grabbed a little water and a little cloth, and sure
Mhm.
enough, the walls weren't the bronze color they were either. They were a different color in the beginning.
We have a topic tonight. I know. Comes as a surprise to all of us, as usual. We're going to be looking at fixed blades for EDC, and well, I've always loved the little fixed blades. Well, I'm going to show this one, and I want to see if Abe can identify this one when he sees it.
Yeah, that was my first contract knife with Boker.
I need one of those.
This
Are
is
there any more of
the
those
Boker
around?
Canoe Kayak Knife, designed by Diving Sparrow Knifeworks. I don't know if you can see the logo right there on the blade.
Did I
My
ever tell you the story behind that logo?
You No, not about the logo. You told me some stories about this knife, though.
Well, yeah, so the logo used to. I'm a big canoeist. I'd done a little kayaking, but my big thing was canoeing. I actually instructed canoeing. And so at one point in time, because I was too cheap, I decided to start carving canoe paddles so I could have all the different style of canoe paddles that I wanted made by me. And then I started selling them, and it was Diving Sparrow canoe paddles. And then when I still opened up my knife company, I was too cheap to design another logo. So I just, I was just literally, I was like, wow, I got my buddy, I paid my buddy to do the Diving Sparrow, and I had stickers that I'd put on the paddles and then shellac over top of them. So they were part of the paddle and everything like that. And then I decided, well, shit, I still got a crap load of stickers. And he did all the artwork for my website. I just paid him the minimal amount to add Diving Sparrow Knifeworks instead of Diving Sparrow canoe paddles. And that's how that logo came about. It used to be my canoe paddle company.
That's
I
pretty
think you should
cool.
always keep it, and this way it could be both.
Yeah.
So
Let me
here's a
ask you
silly
something.
question
Is
then.
there one of them around that I could purchase in between the family here, or do I have to go find one on eBay?
This
Sorry.
is the only one I've got.
I want one of those, in other words.
I've got a couple sitting around here somewhere in my collection. It was so that knife, and I don't want to badmouth Boker. I really appreciate them picking up my knife and stuff like that. But when you do a collaboration with a company, sometimes you've got to go with what they have.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is if their machinery is set up to cut in this case, a certain type of serration, I wanted more of a smaller, less aggressive serration, and
Yeah,
their machinery was cut up. And so, if Grant will tell you, because he does kayaking, the cordage for that stuff isn't big. Like it's small. It's like I'd say 7 mil or something like that. Yeah, it's and so and your even the throwbacks, rescue throwbacks, the cordage on it is relatively small, and so the problem was because their machinery was set up to do that serration. I found that afterwards it was a little too aggressive, and they would get caught up in the cordage, and it wouldn't cut the cordage like you wanted the serration to do. So,
now, would that serration work for something else while you're canoeing that you mimight need it for?
well, if
Because
you
you always could cut the cord on the plane part, right?
well, no, well, you can still cut the cord of the plane part, but the other thing too is the reason why I put the serrations towards the front was if somebody was tangled up in something, you don't want them to have to like, here's the rope up against their body. You don't want to have them take a chance on cutting them, even though there's a safety tip on it, by having to insert the knife too far. So I wanted them to be able to get the really aggressive serrations, an aggressive serration on the front part of the rope, and just snip it really quick rather than to take a chance and having to put it all the way to the back. Sometimes you get stuck that way there where there's a compromise. And in the end, anytime there's a compromise, you really risk having your design fail. Now, for
Yeah.
me, that design was more of a upside down flex blade, and if I had to do it over again, I'd probably shrink it a little bit more, but if you look at it too, it's skeletized handle, lightness, extra grip, but it's a teardrop design. So the teardrop design means once you get your index finger and your thumb locked around the front, then you're gonna jam up because you're not it's your fingers are gonna have to be pulled apart while you're ripping, like doing a ripping cut.
Hmm.
And that's so you've got a better hold on that because it's not made for whittling, it's made for quick slashing cuts to get people out of entanglement or cut some rope so you can do something quick in a rescue situation. The serrations, though, I'll tell you, if you stop for peanut butter and crackers halfway through the day as your lunch, you can really put some artful crackers out with that serration pattern. You know, a
Pretty,
little bit
pretty
of
designs.
I haven't tried that, but on my next paddling adventure, I will make sure that I give that a shot.
yeah, do a little bit
Now,
artful.
I like this design, and I'm not
I
just
like
saying
it.
that because you're my buddy.
That's
I
what I
would
was.
like to see it maybe a little bit shorter.
Well, that's what my plan is to like. You see the blade where you're at right now. I would
Yeah, like
probably
if
bring the tip back to where the serrations end, almost,
yeah,
almost
yeah.
there.
So just the first or second set of teeth, I think, but then still have the serrations, coming down to about maybe here.
Yeah,
If it was my design, that's what I would do. The other thing that I don't like about this, and you've mentioned this before when you and I have talked about this, is this handle material, whatever it is, it feels brittle and I don't much care for it. I'd like to see, I don't know, maybe a different or better grade of plastic or something else on it. Micarta, G10, virtually anything else that would be kind of an indestructible thing. But all in all, I really like the knife. As you can see from the marks on the blade, this one has seen
use.
more than its share of use, and it will continue to see use because I really do like it.
I
Talking about
like
how
it.
I want it a little bit shorter for kayaking, I do like the size for camp chores, and that's something that I sort of insist on with most of my boating knives. Is it's got to be good for camp chores too, because I don't really want to be carrying an extra knife if I don't have to.
Yeah. See, and again, like I said, with the compromises and stuff, I asked for a color. Well, when I asked for a color, I've got to take the color and whatever material they can get. And it's been such
Right.
a long time since I designed that thing. I don't quite remember what they made it out of. Now, the weird thing about it was at the time I designed that, they walked around and they spotted it. I forget where they spotted that design somewhere. Uh, KT'd it. And then at that point in time, they said, "It's a shame you didn't show it to us. We would have taken it." So, but whether or not
Well,
they had the stuff that I wanted, I wanted G10. I wanted G10, but then I thought too, well, what else is out there? So that way the thing, like, there's no way to make it float. So I just certainly didn't want it like accidentally coming out of somebody's hand and going to the bottom, but that was you weren't going to get rid of that.
well, I do appreciate the bright color for just that reason. There's two rules of boating as far as I'm concerned, and they're both rule number one because at various times I will say, "What's rule number one of boating?" And really, either of these two rules is an accurate answer. Rule number one is always have a knife, and rule number one is if it's not secured, it's not yours. But the nice thing about a boating versus something like hiking or rock climbing or whatever is you're not as concerned about weight or bulk or extra equipment because the boat is carrying it, not you. So having an extra knife is not usually a big deal, but I do tend to avoid carrying extra equipment that if I can get away without it. So I do like the fact that this one is large enough for camp chores as well.
What year was that knife made about?
I can't even remember anymore. It was like I said, my first design. Now, when I first designed that thing too, I had this incredible life jacket. It was incredible. It was nice and thick. It was comfortable. The padding came up over top of the shoulders. So if you had to portage a canoe with your yoke on top, you had padding so it didn't dig into you. But the
Right.
thing that I really liked about that jacket was it has a daisy chain right here for lashing. So you
Okay.
could shoelace that through, like a zigzag pattern, and it would be right there. And that's that kind of the idea that I wanted to pull down was part of the design. But again, I hate to, like, I'm not insulting them. It's always a compromise. They did not have the ability to make the sheath that I wanted that I designed. And so we went with just what you have there, a flat sheath with holes in it that you would end up lashing with. And I thought that kind of hurt the knife design too, because I wanted to have a sheath that you could, like, for instance, on your life jackets, I don't know if you have one handy, there's often a cinch strap on the side to help you pull so for people watching, you got your life jacket, you got the front and the back, and there's straps on it, like shoulder straps or side straps. They kind of look like almost like a plate carrier for anybody who's into tactical stuff sometimes now, especially the modern ones. And another way you could have carried it was on your side, out of your way. Uh, depending how big you are, if you're a tiny person, it's going to stick out. But again, I could not get a sheath developed through Boker to do that.
I gotta say, I like the kayaks on this. The only difference that I would have done getting to this one, and I may do it eventually, is I would have drilled a small hole right about here on both sides of this sheath just to let water run out.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, I mean, the little issues that I've talked about with this, and I wouldn't call them issues, the little changes or differences I would have done, those are all personal. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this knife or this design
But
as it
it's funny,
stands.
funny you mention it though. You see the holes in the handle?
Yep.
Okay. Those holes were supposed to be mimicked in the sheath. So see the dimple in the first hole? That's your
Here, yep,
lock. And so
yep.
they were supposed to, that was one of the things we couldn't get done, was for drainage, we were supposed to mimic the line so it looked like, because it's got an arch to it, all the way down the blade for drainage, because exactly that. But again, it
That
was
would
one
have
of
been
those
cool.
things. So it's always manufacturing, what their capabilities of manufacturing at, where they're producing it. But I thought that would have been really cool. And to tell you the truth, the original sheath, I forget the name of it. Remember CRKT had like a rubber polymer sheath on one of their knives a long, long time ago? They only had like, and it was, I think it was a fire rescue or canoe knife too. And it had a rubbery texture to it. Like it was very,
This is sounding vaguely familiar, but I couldn't honestly tell you any details about it.
I can't, like, again, you know how bad I am with names. So this, what I wanted was that sheath with the rubber body to it. And what I wanted is instead of holes in the side, I wanted little strap loops, like elongated strap loops. So you
Mhm.
could lash it anywhere you wanted on your vest, along with making a neck piece out of it. And that's what I wanted, because I thought for sure that that sheath would be, you know, a little bit less harsh on you, especially rubbing, because you're moving and you're kayaking and you're paddling, and you don't want to damage your vest with a hard sheath.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, again, it's like one of those things is, you can design a knife, but if they don't have the manufacturing capacity to make it at a reasonable price, because that was one of the things too when we were talking, and we were talking about certain features. Every time I mentioned we were missing a feature that I wanted, they were like, the cost is gonna it would become, they thought it would become so costly for kayak that the canoe and kayak crowd wouldn't buy it.
Right. Well, I tend to stick to inflatable PFDs. So I don't have a lot of the extra strappage that you have on a standard paddling vest or any sort of other life vest.
Yeah. Well, now, like, we're talking years ago when I bought this vest, and it's lasted. It was a Mountain Equipment Co-op vest.
So, Inky, what little fixed blades, what EDC fixed blades do you like?
Well, I never carry fixed blades on my belt rings, like you said, little. I carried this little guy. I don't know if I've ever shown it. It's a regular, red edge, super edge, whatever you call it, cold steel.
Oh yeah, okay.
And
That was similar to
but
the Para Edge series that they did, isn't it?
yeah, it's a little tiny little bugger.
Yeah, I really like
Th-
those. Those are
This
great.
thing, this thing worked with me for years and years. I actually purposely sharpened down the serrations, to almost meet the front edge there.
Well, those
And I
cold steel
mean,
serrations are really aggressive.
yeah, they're still there, but they're flatter, and even when it's dull, it's still like it's serrated. But this thing, you wouldn't believe what it cut, and I liked it so much, I leather wrapped the, plastic sheath. Oh, it's really cool, it's still great. I bought 2, I never even opened the other box.
Yeah, I gotta get
And,
myself another one of those. I used to have the Para Edge Tado, and that was my go-to mini fixed blade for the longest time.
just an amazing little thing that cost almost nothing, that been through so many years of my life with me. It's
And
crazy.
they were solid.
Yeah, they still, but look at the handle. It's
Yep.
like still
The
it's not
texture on
like
it's really good too.
it's still there, though.
Yeah.
That's that Kraton rubber stuff that they use,
Yeah,
isn't it?
you wouldn't believe what I put this thing through, you have no idea. I think I even bought this one. I got this one used and bought a new one. I don't even think I even got it new, if I'm not mistaken. Probably did though, but
But
it's
on a,
just, you wouldn't believe if this can, you know what I mean? It's the same holds true, man. Any decent knife.
on a handle that small, that texture, as far as I'm concerned, they hit it out of the park because when you get that small of a handle, you definitely need to ensure that the person has good grip. And that texture's
Man,
not so aggressive that it hurts, but you're not going to lose that. That thing ain't going to slip out of your hand.
Well, it doesn't really hurt because it's a soft rubber.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not going to hurt.
yeah,
That
it's just
texture is not going to
beautiful.
hurt. It's aggressive enough that it doesn't hurt, like at all. Like
Yeah.
Not like the hard plastic on this piece of junk.
yeah, that piece of junk. That'll fucking. I wish I could do it over again. I wish somebody could. I could take the project to somebody else, and then that we could recreate it, but with the design features that I wanted.
Is there not an end date for your whatever agreement you
It's
have with
gone.
Boker on that?
It's gone. We're well past it. Usually the patent dates or the contract dates are 5 years.
Well, if anybody at CRKT wants to take a whack at doing a better job of this than Boker did, feel free to contact us at EDC TV at multitool.org, and I will make sure it gets forwarded on to Abe.
The other thing too, though, the changes I make wouldn't fall under the original patent because it'd be almost a different knife.
Oh, well, there you go then. So, if anybody at CRKT or any other company wants to manufacture one of Abe's designs, send us an email at edctv at multitool.org, and I will make sure that he gets it and that I get my cut. So, what about you, Abe? What little fixed blades do you like?
No pun intended there. You get your cut. Just saying.
Well, I can't tell you how many times I almost cut myself with one of these little bastards.
That's the one I
But
thought
we've
you were
covered that before.
yeah, I thought that was the one you're going to pull out. So one of the knives I've got some time on, but not a lot of time on. It's a tops knife, and it's a tiny little thing. It's obviously not made for a lot of work. It's a little recurve. I kind of like them like this. This is the little fixer, and
Little fixer.
I've
Okay.
had a couple of tops knives. They're famous for doing these little skeletal jobbies. This knife I would carry because of the tether. So I don't never do a neck knife. That's just my personal preference. Even though they were something very clever, and they put a
The breakaway. Yeah.
breakaway on it. I know naturally it's not breaking away. So it's just it's like
Just goes to show how safe it is.
yeah. So while I'm being attacked and mugged and choked, I'll be sitting there going, "It's gonna break any second now," and it's not gonna do it.
I like that cute little thing.
It is. It's a nice.
I wish I had one of that little canvas micarta handles on it.
I was just thinking that. I really like the blade shape, but I would have to put some handle scales on it because I find when
Well,
you've
this
got a
was
skeletonized knife, it's just too thin to really hold properly.
I just like especially their micarta they use is nice.
Yeah,
The green micarta will look great on that.
this for me though, for the most part with this knife, this is like an Amazon package knife. It's a little thick. It still has a nice edge on it, so it's good for cutting, especially those textured tape on the boxes with the fiberglass reinforcement. It's a nice little knife, and that's what it's for. Something quick. I love this little thing.
See, now I feel bad because I don't have one.
So I love this little thing,
Mine's different. I took my lanyard off.
but there's an issue with it. First off, when you start using Kydex style sheaths, they're rigid, so they don't flex with you. So then my jelly roll starts digging into the handle because it rides high. Same thing with this one. This is a very unique knife. I want to show this to everybody because it's a lot of people probably haven't seen this before.
Good utility, right?
So they're rigid, so they don't bend with you and they ride high. So they stick into you. So then, and the other thing too is this one has an open end. It's rigid, it's open end. So when you got to put it back, especially, so a lot of times if you're going to carry a flex blade, not all the time, you put it at 5 o'clock on your hip because that's a safe place to put it so you can bend a little bit and it doesn't jam in you a bit more. And it's safe, just not irritate you. The issue I have with knives like this, as opposed to knives like this, is so the one is a utility blade, right? And we're talking about the sheaths, is there's no guide into the sheath here. You are
Right.
trying to stab your way into the sheath on the CRKT one.
Yeah.
It's flush on the top, as where this has a backing, so I can find the backing and guide the sharp blade in without cutting myself or cutting clothing. Especially
Is
if you
that
get
a
like a
is
little
that a
bit.
Mora there?
No, this is actually a Halta-Force. And so
Okay.
it's this trades knife, and this is I used to carry. This is a brand new one. When I backup one, my trades one has been up, and I wanted to see what the good one looked like. So it's got a small straight edge on it for cutting small things, acting, scoring, just things like that. But then it's got a back cut edge that you use to cut things that you want to draw on and you don't want to hurt anything. And more commonly, I used to cut open. I think this is more of an electrician version. I used to cut open wire, like the Romex, the sheathing off a Romex. And so, but I like the CRKT. I really like the function and the size of the knife. It's just that if I carry it at 5 o'clock, it doesn't go back in as easily as a sheath that has a backing that allows you to guide the blade into. And that's
Now,
why,
which CRKT is that?
my God,
Caution M4, I think.
which one is it?
Caution M4, maybe?
Yeah. It's a Carson. It's a
F.
Carson F.
A 402. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fake G10, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it
It's
may
a
be
These
nice
were
looking
cheap.
blade.
fiber.
Now
Mechanically
that
fastened
pocket,
too.
I think it's an AUS display, isn't it? Was some kind of an AUS 8 or 6, something?
Yeah. Back
I
then,
don't remember.
when I got this back then, that was a really common steel they used was AUS. I can see it at the bottom of the blade. I can't read it because my glasses won't allow me.
I'll tell you one thing. It doesn't hold a great edge because just putting it in and out of the sheath sometimes it dulls. The sheath really is a failure on this knife.
Yeah.
does
it-
that
But I
does
carry
the
it
clip
without
on
the
that
clip
sheath
on it.
rotate, or is that fixed?
no, it's
That's it.
fixed.
You
But
can
here's
take
the
this
thing.
out.
The sheath got good points and bad points to it. So I don't know if anybody can see it. So there's the belt clip. So this is easy to get on. Anyways, so the belt clip has got a hook on it. So once you're over the belt, you're hooked on the belt. It's kind of hard to get it off the belt. But if you look here, the belt clip, if you press, so where the belt clip goes into the sheath, there's basically a slot, and the belt clip can be pressed out of the sheath if you can press it down enough. It's a lip, it's a lock-in lip, and you can pull the belt clip. See, you can actually pull the belt clip right out. So then
So
you can
if
turn it
the
into a
belt
neck.
clip gets caught on your belt and you can't undo it, you can just disconnect the knife and walk around with just the
That's a
belt
pain
clip.
in the ass. But
No,
you can
well, I
also,
think this is mostly to do a neck knife, so you don't have the belt clip on if you want to
yeah,
wear it as a
or
neck knife.
you can run a belt through the slots, I think,
Yeah, you
too.
could. But you know what I mean? I think a lot of that's just like fasten it through like you said, through the loops, but a lot of it's just that way you don't have the clip as a standoff when you
Right.
have it as a neck knife.
I have made sheets for these things. That blade is definitely written in there. So it's definitely dulling. Like, I've never used this. I had another one, and the blade is marked. See that? That's
Yeah,
because the blade ran a little bit crooked. See
that's
how
not
that's
good.
it? You see what I mean? Look, if you don't get the blade in just right, it goes out the side, down the thing. Abe's totally right. The sheath is he's even giving the sheath too much credit. But the knife is
Really.
cute. Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
the
it looks
sheath,
like a really nice little knife.
it is a
it's a
really nice
great
little
knife.
knife.
The sheath is nice, in idea, but it's in function.
Well, they made it too loose.
Function, it's okay, but in design, it's kind of flawed, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little loose, and they don't have like on Kydex sheaths. There's usually a couple screws at the top that actually tension it that could clamp that down, make it a little tighter. You get some ram movement on it. I do like the idea of the lanyard because it gives you a little extra purchase with your fingers. It's a
Right.
nice knife, but the thing I found with, to say it, with CRKTs in the early days when they were using the AES and the AES 8 is you could get two of the same knife and the heat treat would be perfect on one and you could cut the world with that knife. It just lasts forever. And then you could get another one, same knife. And I'm thinking of a particular model that my buddy had a blade. It was a frame lock with grooves. I think it was a shark. I think it was one of the sharks. And he cut everything with that thing. And then I know people who had the same knife said, it dulled after the first time I cut air. And I'm not making fun of them. It was like, the heat treat was that off. There was such a range in the early days. So another one, and again, I don't remember the name of it. This is why I got that one. So this has got, the sheath's not the greatest on it. The belt loop kind of sucks. Well, it really does suck. I'm being too polite. It sucks. The belt loop sucks. But the reason why I like this thing is, again, if you go to put the blade in, there's a guard between you and when you slip the blade in. This is a Gerber bird and trout knife. And what's it remind you of when you look at it?
It looks like a paring knife.
From Victorinox. And that's why I picked it up because I've often thought this again is a little too big. I thought if they shorten that Victorinox paring knife up a little bit, I'd grab one and make it into an EDC pocket knife because it actually, tell you the truth, I should just grab a Victorinox knife and grind it down a little bit.
If you can't find the Victorinox version of that, Opinel also makes a very similar knife that's also really, really good. I've got a bunch of them, none of them handy, of course, but I've got a knife block in my kitchen with probably half a dozen of them in it in different colors.
Yeah.
Is that a flexible kind of blade, or is it
Yeah, it's got a
pretty?
little flex to it. It's a little thin, too thin because it's bird and
It
trout.
looks a little bit less flexible than a Victorinox. Victorinox got quite a bit of flex. I don't know
Yeah.
if you want to EDC it. It's kind of
Well,
kitcheny, you know?
yeah,
I actually did EDC a Victorinox paring knife for quite a
I
few
want
years,
to.
and I loved it.
yeah. Because it's what you're like. I mean, it's what you're going to use it for. Like I like cutting packages. I mean, let's face it. You're the on an average day basis, on everyday basis, you're on average you're like cutting paper open. You might be peeling an apple. But
Yeah,
if
you're
you
not doing a
shorten,
lot.
if you look at the Victorinox blade, if you do shorten it a little bit, you're going to get some rigidity back because you don't have that tip, that distal taper on the tip. Another one that I've been carrying again is this doesn't have much of a guide to it. So this is an MKM knife, but it's got
Ooh,
some interesting features on it. It's got a nice utility style blade. So,
oh, I like
you're,
that, man.
you
Like that blade style, yeah.
yeah, looks like a shrunken kitchen knife, right? It's got good grip on it, olive wood little style. Again, the sheath doesn't
Mhm.
have much, but it's got a way of guiding it in. Two ways of
And that's
guiding
a
it in.
nice cheese too.
Yeah, it's got two ways of guiding it in. This is where this gets interesting. So there's a magnet in here. So the minute you get close, grabs it so that way you're not really, I mean,
That's
if you approach
fantastic.
gently, you're not gonna cut yourself, right? But
That's really good. Yeah, I like that.
the belt loop is also magnetic too, so you can take this on and off whenever you want. You just stick that
Well,
down
that
in
is
there.
nice.
You're not messing with a clip, and of course, as you know, when you got your belt on, the pressure of your belt's gonna hold on to this really tight too. It's a nice knife. I really like it.
What knife is that again, Abe?
MKM. This is much thicker, but it's not very large. It's got a good size handle for the thing. You can put a little attachment on there. But like I said, one of the big things about small belt knives, because I like a fixed blade, is I have a problem, especially if I carry it at 5 o'clock. I'm a big guy. I can't look over my roll. I don't want to be
Mhm.
searching to put it back in and stab myself or cut up a perfectly good shirt. But this thing here, maybe not from this angle, the weight. Once you get close, boom, it holds itself in because of the magnet.
Now, you know how Demko and kind of like works a little bit with cold steel, I'd say, with their triad locks, and I like that knife. The triad lock and all that stuff. I was buying an AD-20, AD-15, I don't know. The small blade folds, like 3 1/4 inch blade, and I needed a little bit of money to get free shipping, so I ordered this.
Now that you mention it, Inky, I'm probably gonna try and make a better sheath for that,
Me
and
too.
inspired by the MKM, when I go to make a better sheath for that CRKT, I think I'm gonna use the magnet system. This, I wouldn't mind making another sheath for this, Inky. I like it. I think it's a little big, but it's kinda nice.
You know what I have right behind me?
What do you
Every
got?
time I go to Goodwill, I buy a leather belt, always like,
Oh,
veggie tan, just for sheets. Now, I haven't used any yet, but I got about 50 of them hanging up.
actually, you know what I use the belts for when I find a good solid leather belt at Value Village? Is,
Yeah.
knife making strops. Yeah,
Yeah, it works for that too.
yep, it's, I have wood cut to the thickness of usually a inch and a half, inch and a quarter, and I just take 3M77 spray glue, and it holds on there, I've God knows I must have given away 3 cows worth of free strops to people because the belts are so cheap. I found these at the Restore. Somebody donated a whole bunch of tool belts, and they were $10 a piece. There's at least
I
maybe
need a wide one like that.
look at that wide belt like this, but here, if I took it
I need
and I
that.
cut it into thin straps, there's gotta be 3 or 4 straps in here, and look how thick it is. Look how thick that sumbitch is.
I
That's
got a
made
big butcher knife I'm trying to make a sheets for.
there you go. Yeah, well, I can if they got any more, I'll pick you some up. But this, yeah, I couldn't buy, like, because I do my knife making sheaths, and I've made my own belts. I couldn't buy the leather for $10. Look at this thing.
No, you can't.
Look at that. And I cut off the tip already.
So that is bringing us towards the end of yet another episode there, gentlemen. Thank you guys for being a part of it. And huge thanks to the folks at Podcasthon for for accepting a little show like ours. We're glad to be a part of it. And make sure that you check out your local Movember Foundation to, get some awareness about some of the issues that are facing men out there. That's going to do us for another week. Thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you have a great week ahead of you. Take care, everybody.